Good morning, year 2. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to your Wednesday's literacy lesson, where today we'll be focusing on a boxing up activity to help us really focus on the structure of the story of Grandma Bird. Today you will need a pencil, the colouring pencils from your resource pack, so that we can really present our work beautifully, and also your home learning book. You can download the template from Seesaw, or you can do this direct in your home learning book. So you can pause the video now to collect any resources that you need. So for today we continue our starter on antonyms, meaning that they are an opposite word with the opposite meaning. So fast and slow, gigantic and tiny, happy and sad, and brilliant and horrendous. Your challenge today is to find the antonyms for fast in each sentence. So we have Miss Mitchell's dog Poppy plodded in the sunshine, and the ninja was creeping quietly like a mouse. So we're looking for the antonyms of fast. And remember, antonym means opposites. We're looking for words which mean slow. So see if you can pause the video now and find the antonym in each sentence which is the opposite of fast. Brilliant. Okay, so the ninja was creeping quietly like a mouse. So the word that shows that it was doing it slowly is creeping. Creeping is the opposite of fast, so creeping is an antonym for fast. Miss Mitchell's dog Poppy plodded in the sunshine. She really did the other day because she was getting really warm. So the antonym would have been plodded. Plodded mean that she was walking slowly. So the opposite of fast. Well done. You can give yourself a tick for finding the correct antonyms. Your challenge today is to create a boxing up activity to really highlight the structure of the story Grandma Bird. Now to do this we need to think about the characters, so the people who are in our story. We're looking at the setting of the story, so where the story is set. Now as much as it starts at Grandma's house, there are lots of different mini settings in between. However, it is mainly set at a beach or on an island. The problem of the story, so what goes wrong, what is the climax of the story that makes it exciting and makes us think, oh no, what's going to happen next? And also the solution, so how is the problem fixed? Does it have a happy ending? So I want you to really focus on these as we read the story again to help you pick out and highlight each feature. Here is the story of Grandma Bird by Benji Davies. Noy lived with his dad and 6 cats by the sea. It was summer and Noy was going to stay at Grandma's. It was a long way to Grandma's house. She lived by herself on a tiny rock where the wind cut in and the grass grew sideways. The only visitors were the birds who blew in and out on the breeze. Noy wasn't sure about Grandma. She boiled up seaweed for soup and kept her teeth in a jar. At night they had to sleep top to tail. The blankets were itchy and Grandma snored like an old walrus. During the day, Grandma always seemed to be too busy with one thing or another, and she never had time to play. So one morning when the tide was out, Noy crept away. He hopped from rock to rock and pattered over wet sand. He dipped in and out of the rock pools. Then he spotted something shimmering across the sand. It was a great big rock full of holes. Noi weaved in and out and skipped around its edges. It was a castle, a tall ship, a smuggler's den. It was the barnacled back of an ancient whale. Outside, the sky swirled black and grey. A storm was brewing. Noi listened as the sea thrashed against the rocks and rain began trickling down the walls. Suddenly, with a flutter and a squawk, something tumbled out of the storm and landed in Noi's cave. It was a little bird, and it didn't look well. The tiny bird shivered in Noi's hands. He knew he must do something, and quickly. Maybe Grandma would know what to do. The tide had come in, and it was hard to find a path across the rocks. Noi hopped, jumped, and leapt with all his might, but the storm blew him left and right. Noi wondered how he would ever make it back to Grandma's, when suddenly a sail came cutting across the sea. "Grandma!" shouted Noi. "I've got you!" cried Grandma as she scooped them aboard. "Thank goodness I found you," she said. Grandma had started searching for Noi as soon as she heard the storm. As they sailed home, Noi and Grandma found more of the windswept birds. "They must have been on a long journey together," said Grandma. The house was soon full of chatter and the ruffle of drying wings. Once the storm had passed, the birds went on their way. Only Noi's bird didn't. He didn't want to leave. "I think he likes you," said Grandma. Noi wondered if Grandma ever felt lonely, living out here by herself. They spent the rest of the summer together, exploring every rock and shore. And Grandma's bird came too. So we are going to be using the boxing up activity to really help us pick out and focus on the structure of the story of Grandma Bird. Now to do this, you can use the template which has been uploaded to Seesaw and either complete the activity directly on Seesaw or download and print the template off there. If you're doing it straight into your exercise book, you can draw this template really simply, just using a pencil and a ruler straight onto your book, just like so. So we need 4 boxes, so I need to go straight down the middle and across. Bit wobbly, hope you're going to use a ruler. And in the first box we have characters, then we have setting, where the story is set. We have problem and solution, how the problem is solved. So if you would like to pause the video now, and if you need to draw the boxes, you can do so now. Okay, so in this box, to start with, we're just going to focus on the characters in the story. So can you tell me who the characters in the story are? That's right, we have Noi, the little boy. Noi, that rhymes. So he always wears his black snood or hat, or I'm not sure if it's a hood around his head. And you can make yours look a lot better than mine because I don't have coloured whiteboard pens. So this is Noi on his hands. Who else is in the story? We've got Grandma, who's got curly hair and her glasses. You can draw Grandma like so. And you could even draw the birds in the story, their little fluffy tails. And you could also add Noi's dad, and you can label them so that we know who the characters are. So we've got Noi, Grandma, and the birds. You could also use your story map to help you complete this activity and remind yourself of the characters. So you can pause video now and complete your characters box. So for the setting of the story is at Grandma's house on the rock where she lived. So we can do Grandma's house with the roof on a huge, well, it's quite a small rock actually, and all the sand around it with the sea. So you can pause video now and complete your setting box too. Okay, for the problem of the story, what goes wrong is Noi is trapped in a rock when a storm comes. So you could draw your rock with Noi trapped inside. And there was a bird and the big storm around with a big cloud, and you can colour it in to make it look beautiful too. Then for the solution of the story, how is the problem solved, is actually by a person. A person comes and it's Grandma. Grandma comes to save the day on her boat. So we can draw Grandma on her boat. She has a little headscarf wrapped around her to keep her warm. Who comes to save Noi and the bird. And then they all lived in Grandma's house to stay warm. Now hopefully yours is going to be a lot more detailed than mine, as I did mine really quick and not in as much detail or care as I'm sure you're going to spend creating yours. You can also add your keywords. So for our problem, it could be because of the storm. We could be saying that Noi is feeling frightened and worried about the damage. So adding our keywords, really striving with our vocabulary, and I'm sure they will look amazing. When you've finished your boxing up activity, don't forget to take a picture of your work and upload it to Seesaw, because we can't wait to see it. Have fun!